Good evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good to see you. It's so good to begin to celebrate Shabbat in community, to see your faces, to see each other's faces. This is a very special Shabbat. And for those that are a little bit confused with the Jewish calendar, it's time to talk about it for 1 second. Jews in the diaspora, or many Jews in the diaspora, celebrate a second day for holidays. It is called Yom Sheini Shel Galuyot. You don't need to remember that. Now, Reform Jews do not celebrate the second day of the diaspora that was initially established in order to align the Jewish calendar between the land of Israel and communities that existed in the diaspora. We kind of know that in advance now. We have other tools. We don't need a dove or a fire or some kind of a sign in order for us to know how the calendar is going to work. So Reform Jews have left that observancy. That being said, in many communities, today is going to be celebrated the second day of Shavuot. Now, we are not celebrating the second day of Shavuot, but we are celebrating Shabbat. Many communities will be reading the reading of the Torah tomorrow morning that corresponds to the holiday of Shavuot. We are not going to be many, more than 900 Reform congregations in the United States. Most congregations in the United States will be reading Parashat Naso tomorrow morning. About that parasha, we'll talk later. So for those that are wondering or checking internet, like when you Google a portion, the Torah portion for this weekend, you will see that in some places it says Naso, and in some places, which is the name of our Sidra, our Torah portion this week, and in other places will say Shavuot, which is the holiday that we are culminating its celebration. In any way, Shabbat for all the Jewish communities over the world, and we are celebrating this Shabbat of Parashat Naso together. This is this very special Shabbat in which Levi will come up to the Torah tomorrow morning, symbolically in a Torah portion that speaks a lot about Levites. And about that, we'll talk tomorrow, correct? So we'll commence our service on page 129, acknowledging the beauty of coming together 128. The beauty of coming together as community. Ine matov umanaim.
מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
And celebrating Shabbat, we will now turn our Sidurim to page 120 for the lighting of Shabbat candles. We would like to invite the Margolis, Sonia, Jeff, and children to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles.
Just pick the whole thing up. אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו בהר של שבת. Amen.
May the light of these Shabbat candles inspire us to bring light to our lives as well. Shabbat Shalom. We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 130. We welcome Shabbat on our feet. Lechu niranena la Adonai.
ונרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות, נריע לו, נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות, נריע לו.
Page 131.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו.
On page at the bottom of page 132, or saru al tzadik uleshrei lev simcha simchu tzadikim ba'Adonai be'odu leseicher kodsho. A light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in the presence of the source of all being. Mizmor Shiru LaAdonai, Shir Hadash. We sing songs in Shabbat that invite us to recognize the many wonders that we experience, that we encounter in our daily lives. Invite us to look at them from a different perspective. Invite us to enter the palace on time. We're on page 134 for Psalm 95. Samru LaAdonai. Samru
LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra. Samru LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra. Samru LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra. Samru LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra. Samru LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra. Samru LaAdonai bechinor, bechinor, v'kol zimra.
Page 136, Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid.
Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei elim. Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei elim. Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Adonai os le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai os le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Adonai os le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech את עמו ושלום, אדוני עוש לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום.
We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 138 at the center of our Kabbalat Shabbat. We chant this poem, Lecha Dodi. We're invited to welcome the Shabbat bride, to recognize, to fall in love with our routines. That's the invitation of Shabbat. To recognize with loving eyes, with a loving heart, the work that we have done, the week that we have experienced, and to embrace this time with open hearts.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Let's try that. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמעו וזכו בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נהסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
תרפה ראשי ולא תקהלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהלמי, רק יחסו עניי ימין, ונבנתה הלהלתי לה.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
While you are standing, we want to use this opportunity to, once we have said Shabbat Shalom to Shabbat itself, to say Shabbat Shalom to each other. So if this is your first time at Shir Hadash, please raise your hand. Okay, there is a group. So that area, are you coming for? Levi's Bar Mitzvah, so Bruchim Abayim, welcome. And if you are in this area and it's your first time at Shir Hadash, here, you want to share your names? So, Brandon Baruch Haba, welcome. Natalie, welcome. Grace. Welcome. And Eva. And Madeline. Madeline or Madeline? Maim. Or Maim. Okay, I didn't understand the Hebrew, or Maim. So, Bruchot Habaot, welcome everybody. And you know, all those that are coming for Levi's Bar Mitzvah, you're not going to get away with that. We want to hear your names, so yeah, just say your names. We want welcome. Where are you coming from? From New Jersey, from the promised land of the East Coast. Okay, Bruchim Abayim. Keep going, man. You need to organize this. It's not going to happen otherwise. Sophia. Welcome, Bruchim Abayim. And you're all from New Jersey? Okay, New York, your real thing, right? So, Steve, welcome. And if you haven't shared your name, please do that before we move on. And now, look around and make sure that you identify a face that you don't know, and go to that person and say Shabbat Shalom. Make sure that you say Shabbat Shalom at least to 5 people. לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. Ay, 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavelam. Ay la la la, ay la 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 la, ay 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 la la, ya la la la, ay la la, lecha dodi, ay la la, ay likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekavelah, ay la la, lecha dodi, ay likrat kala, Shabbat Shalom, ay b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekavelah. We don't mean to interrupt the Shabbat Shaloms, but we are going to move forward into page 140. We will dedicate to Shabbat one more song.
Mizmor.
These more shivers.
Mizmor Shir, Shir Le'oh HaShabbat,
Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat.
We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 144 for Herzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal ve'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Belma divrach hirute ve'amlich malchute. Bechayechon uvyomechon uvchayedechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, Ve'imeru, Amen. Yeshmei Rabba Mevarach, La'alamu al Me'almayach, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Ve'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar v'yitrama v'yinaseh, v'yirhadar v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ola min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma. Ve'imeru.
Amen.
We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 146. Please rise for Baruch.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. We're on page 148. Please join me for this reading in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who
Speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons,
and
arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, ruling light away from darkness, and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on me. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim.
Page 150. Recite before the Shema, the blessing for love. We think of sources of everlasting love, of unconditional love in our lives.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadita, Otanu lemadita. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, Hukumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
Dear God, please never remove your love from us. Blessed are you, Adonai, loves your people, Israel. We are on page 152 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Page 154.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Ayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'ekumecha, u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha, v'hayu letotafot, Beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hirtem kedoshim lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lihiot Lachem Le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת ואמונה כל צדקה היא עמלנו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל אל עמו. We continue with the silent reading over page 156. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Mi chamocha ve'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God? We're on page 158. Mi
Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar Barakodesh, Nora Tehilot, O Sefele, Nora Tehilot, O Sefele, Ma'alechutecha Ra'u Banecha, Bokeyayam, Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeli Anu be'amru, Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai ya la lai lai lai. Ya la 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 la.
As it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Gaal Israel. After the blessing for redemption, after thinking about the obstacles that we might be facing, we ask to find internal peace. We ask to find the strength to focus on our ability to find and do good. On page 160.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Ushmot tzedkenu, uvoenu, leChayim u'Shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Ushmot tzedkenu, uvoenu, leChayim u'Shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu
Baruch atah Adonai, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai, garden of Israel, shelter of peace, is spread over us, where all your people Israel and over the city of Shalom, the holy city of Yerushalayim. Before turning to Tfilat Amidah, to the central prayer of our service, we are reminded that it is a covenant between God and the people of Israel to keep Shabbat as a part of our lives, to let this past and time shelter us and protect us from sometimes our willingness to constantly acquire more, conquer more. You know, there is a beautiful teaching from Rabbi Aaron Shosha Heschel. I'm sorry. This moved. The service is kind of killing me. Apologize. I wish I could do that silently. I should have thought about that. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's this beautiful teaching that Abraham Shosha Heschel, Rabbi Heschel, articulates so well, that says that during 6 days, we try to conquer the world. On the 7th day, we try to conquer the self. And sometimes we are just so busy with our routines. We are so busy with what we need to acquire, what we need to do, that we forget who we want to be. Shabbat is an invitation to remember that. We should remember that every single day of the week. And Shabbat, we dedicate the entire day to the self. And as we enter Tfilat Amidah, this opportunity for personal prayer, we are reminded that today is a special day. And we can, only for a day maybe, shift our priorities and emphasize the things that we really, really care about. So I will invite you to please rise, to turn your study to page 164, and while you might follow the millennial words of our tradition, or you try to bring up your own words, I invite you to try to find your tefillah shebalev, the prayer of your heart, the words that you shall speak.
Sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
see that you're at the bottom of page 180. Yule ratzoni mreifi, legion livi, lefanecha Adonai tzuri begoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Say shalom bimromah, say shalom aleinu. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and all who inhabit the earth. And let us say,
Amen.
we add one more prayer at the end of Tfilat Amidah. We dedicate a moment to think of those that are dealing with illness. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies. We think of those dealing with illness in their souls. We think of those carrying grief. And we think of those dealing with addictions. If there is a name that you'd like to share in this Erev Shabbat, we invite you to do so as we go around the room.
Bruce Roberts, Alfreda Massman, Diane Siegel, Gail Frankel, Scott Van Gundy, Daphna Talmor, Mira Engel, Dave Stahl, Greg Herb, Murray Siegel, Marvin Lombard, Lori Shaken, Sue Leiter, Bobby Miller, Laura Sternberg, Margaret McGuan, Richard Ravitch, Bernice Paris, Franklin Wolfson, Helen Curlin. Misha Beirach is on page 371.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Wish to all of you, to all of them, to all of us, refuah shlema v'chlama meira, a complete recovery and well-being. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos.
So, in the spirit of the Holy of Shabbat, we made all the explanations about it. It was a Shabbat for us. Still, I want to, in the spirit of the Holy, I want to dedicate a moment to a quick Torah study that is based in Parashat Naso. One of the, I don't know if you know it, but Naso, what's the meaning of the word Naso? Anyone? You're right. Yes. Lasset is to carry. We are going to be speaking in this Torah portion about the gifts that the Levites and the princes of all the tribes will carry. More about that tomorrow morning. And we will hear also a very special blessing that includes that word. Now, this is the longest Torah portion in the entire Torah. Levi, that's why it took us so long to read it. It's 172 verses, I think. 72 or 73.
Might be more than.
No, I think it's 72 or 73 for sure.
Well, chapter 7 has 89 verses.
So, it's a very, very long Torah portion, and it's the longest of the entire Torah. And one of the most beautiful blessings, one of the most known verses of the entire Torah appears in this Torah portion. Torah says, "You will bless the children of Israel." God says to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and tell him and his children that they will bless the people of Israel." And then we learn a very special blessing that we call in our tradition the priestly benediction, Birkat HaKohanim. If you open your Sidurim on page 603, you will see it. Now, traditionally, this blessing was introduced to us as the words that were going to be said only by the priest, only by the Kohanim, to the people of Israel. And as a matter of fact, the words of the Torah sealed by saying, I hear some other conversations going on. I encourage you to have only one, and it's the one that we're having right now. And as a matter of fact, the blessing seals in the Torah by saying, these are the words that I say, that God is saying to the people of Israel. To some extent, the priest, in that moment they are channels of the divine providence. They are connectors between the beauty of the creation and the community. It's a very selfless blessing. But I want you to notice a few structural things. The blessing is 3 sentences. And the quantity of words is 3, 5, and 7. The second word, the volume is a bit too high, we can lower it a little bit. Thank you. The second word is always the name of God. And there is a cause and effect situation. Yevrechecha, Adonai, second word, Ishmerecha, 3 words. May God bless you and protect you. The cause and effect in this case is God's blessing will protect you. And the idea behind the first sentence is that you will have all the basic things that you might need, such as good health and sustainability, parnasah. You have enough money to fill your refrigerator. The second sentence says, Ya'er Adonai panav, Ya'er Adonai, second word Adonai again, panav elecha v'yechuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and the effect is v'yechuneka. What's the meaning of the word yechuneka? Once again, I think the volume is too high. If we can lower it a little bit, that will be very helpful. Thank you, Daniel. What's the meaning of the second? This is perfect. What's the meaning? No, once again. Let's keep it where, there. Can we? Should I take this microphone? Here we go. Perfect. Okay. The second sentence is Yair Adonai panav elecha, may God's light shine upon you And be gracious. What's the meaning of the word gracious? Grace. Good. So, okay, now we know grace. What does it mean, grace? I asked him for buyers to give me an answer. I'm not sure.
Kindness,
What?
kindness, blessing.
Kindness, blessing, close, but I'm not sure that that defines grace. What? Gentle. We know the word grace from a very, very popular prayer that we say in the high holidays. We use that word in a very different context. We say Avinu Malkeinu, Honenu Ve'anenu, our Father, our King. Honenu Ve'anenu, be graceful to us, respond to us, and then it seals with what? The sentence is, Ki ein banu ma'asim, because we have no deeds. Grace is the ability to relate to fellow human beings with kindness, with no reason. So the second statement is a moral one. Once your needs are fulfilled, the second statement is, now that you're experiencing God's light in your face, you need to be able to look at fellow human beings with that light. And the effect is that you will treat them with grace. No matter what they do, no matter who they are, you are supposed to treat them with grace. And number 3, Isa Adonai panav elecha, and here is the word laset again, to carry or to lift up. God will lift up its face toward you, and the effect will be, what's going to be the consequence of that? Once you have God's face looking in your direction, you will find peace. You have peace. And this is probably the most difficult one to understand. Like, what does it mean to have God's face in your direction and then you find peace? What?
Very logical.
Very logical. Go ahead.
Because if somebody treats you with grace, it will be no conflict, you will be calm, and it will be peace. You just will stop doing what you are doing, and
You're fair. Nice, Orla. Okay, that's a good point. But you are saying that number 3 is a consequence of number 2. And it could be the most traditional explanation is that each of them stands in its own merit, despite the fact. So it could be despite the fact that there is a sequence. The ability first to recognize your needs. Second, to recognize the fact that fellow human beings and yourself need to be treated gently, where they have or they don't have deeds. And number 3, I'll take your explanation, I'll give you another one. Yair Isa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. God will lift up its face toward you and will grant you peace. There's a beautiful story that I heard from Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, that there was a group of people looking at a big embarkation, a big ship leaving the port, and the ship was already quite far in the ocean, and there was a little child waving and waving and waving non-stop. And so an older man asked the child, "Why are you waving there so far?" And he says, "Well, I'm waving to the capital." And the man says, "Well, probably they cannot see you from there. What makes you think that the captain is looking in this direction?" And the kid says, "The captain is my dad." Of course he's looking. Of course he's looking. The idea of having God looking at us is to decide that someone is waving to us from nature, from the universe, put it wherever you want, and to decide that we want to live our lives waving back. What makes you think that you are seen, that you are recognized? What gives you the peace to know that you matter, that someone, that something is thinking of you? There's a beautiful story, beautiful midrash that says that each of us needs to be able to say, העולם בשבילי נברא העולם. For my own sake, this entire world was created. And from that place of recognition and ownership, from that place is that we can find peace, internal peace. And maybe then, yes, treat fellow human beings with grace. And maybe then, yes, find the blessing of protection that we wish to ourselves and to everyone else. It's not surprised that we share this blessing at our Shabbat tables with our children, that we wish for them to feel that they are the owners of this world, that they are responsible for this world, and that they matter. It is not a coincidence that under the chuppah we share these words with couples. It is not a coincidence that we say these words to our B'nai Mitzvah. Because we wish for them to have this sense of connection in which they feel, you feel, we feel the owners of the world, and therefore we are not fighting with each other over ownership. We are sharing with each other with love and generosity. Shabbat Shalom. We will now turn our study to page 587 for Aleinu Leshabech, and if you haven't done your Bar Mitzvah yet, which means that you are under the age of 13, we invite you to open the ark and to lead the community. Even that includes you. Sorry, man. Tomorrow.
והשבותה אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים להשב אותך אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. this point, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the cycle of the first 7 days of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you are during the cycle of the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. If you are during the cycle of the first 11 months, first year of mourning, please rise and share with us who you are remembering.
Галина Бутовина.
Dr. Grace Deutsch, my mother.
Arthur Turdak.
If you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year, in years past, please rise and share with us who you are remembering.
David Askenizer.
Stephen Becker, my husband.
Anna Kulai-Gelber.
We remember those who have been taken from us during this past year: Marilyn Graben, Alan Feigen, Jonah Anschel, Sharon Lowenbrown, Sheila Bamberger, Dr. Grace Deutsch, Clarissa Glotzer, Stephen Bornstein, Richard Kennemer, Ethel Schenker, Varda Satchi, Rabbi Talit Shavit, Jack Long, Virginia Larson, Miriam Moorer, Bob Sturman, Lenora Wang, Adam Richard Spilka, Shlomo Isips, Howard Levine, Barbara Lombard, Claire London, Drago Herman, Merle Greenwald, Samuel Greenwald, Anita Cumula, Bryce Lyon, Edna Stone, Miriam Davis, Lauren Janovich, Janet Wall, Charlene Kilgore, Ezra Satit Satchi, Gideon Hoffer, Alvin Kramer Siegel, Vlasta Vizinovich, Galina Butorina, Karen Imbalzano, Lillian Berman, Robert Bruce Myers, Abraham Karras, Scott Safadi, Norman Green, Marilyn Silverman, Leslie Heinall, David Green, Jeannie Porish, Estelle Abrams, Spencer Caney, Arthur Cherdak, John Ivers, Marilyn Handelman, Kay Dameron, Nira Marome, Andrea Cameron, Zeba Feruzin, Rosella Newton, Linda Sherry, and those who died at this season in years past: Al Katz, Benjamin Kent, David Askenazer, Dr. Peter Wunsch, Gerald Levenfeld, Golda Pistolnik, Harry Schnettman, Henny Fredkin, John Rose, Larry Eisen, Miriam Altman, Samuel Shackman, Stanley Silverman, Stephen Becker, Zoya Feingersh, Anna Kulai-Gelber. And now you can support our community by standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avilim, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. Yekadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ma Tivrach Hirutei, Yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon Yomechon, V'chayei Techol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv, Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'elam U'Lomei Ameyah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitala shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nehemata ta'amiran be'alma imru amen. Shlama Rabba Shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael imru amen. Say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen.
May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. Yes, Zichram Baruch. You may be seated.
It's my pleasure to invite up Dawn Gringorton to share a few announcements with us. One of her last duties as a board member, as she will step off the board at the end of June. Temporarily, right?
Testing. Oh, that's good. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm going to go ahead and share some upcoming announcements. I will skip today because today is almost over. On Saturday, which is tomorrow morning, at 10:30 a.m., there will be a Torah study, followed at 10:30 a.m. with the bar mitzvah of Levi Margolis, followed by a coffee and sweets Kiddush lunch. On Monday, May 29th, the Early Childhood Center and the office will be closed for Memorial Day. And on Wednesday, May 31st at 4 o'clock p.m. is the Adult Education Committee meeting. And just to give you a slightly longer range preview of some things we have going on Friday, June 2nd at 6:15 p.m. we'll have our Shabbat service. Then on Saturday, June 3rd at 9:30 a.m. there will be the Torah study, which will be followed at 10:30 a.m. with our board installation Shabbat service. On Sunday, June 4th, there's a men's club board meeting at 10 a.m. And on Friday, June 9th, at 11:30 a.m. is the Shir Hadash Early Childhood Center end-of-year picnic. Please register online. At 5 p.m., there'll be a Shabbat dinner in honor of the bar mitzvah of Joseph Teague. Please register online now. And at 6:15 p.m. on Friday, June 9th, is our Shabbat service.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom Mevorach. Now I'd like Jeff to lead us in Kiddush. You can follow him on page 122.
Yes. The rabbi's going to start. And you have to hold that.
בערב ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחול השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי, וכנסי לחיים.
L'chaim.
Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu berachata ve'otanu kitashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Kadesh HaShabbat.
Did you get your drink? L'chaim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I invite you now to connect with your families. If your families are here, go to your family. We want to make sure that we are together with our families. And if your families are not here, we invite you to connect with a friend. And if you don't have yet friends at Shir Hadash, adopt a family. Make sure that you are not standing alone. If you are two and you recognize someone standing alone, stand with that person. Make eye contact. Share each other's name. In Shabbat, we recognize our creations. We take a moment to recognize the work that we are engaged in doing, and we bless its beauty. It is customary to bless our children, but it's also a beautiful idea and a beautiful tradition to think about the loving relationships that we are creating in this world. As we say to our children, ישמחם אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה, ישמחם אלוהים כשרה רבקה, רחל ולאה. May God inspire you to be like the loving parents of the house of Israel. And we say to all of them the words of this Torah portion. We say to all of them, Yevarechechem Adonai ve'yishmerechem. May God bless you and protect you. Ya'el Adonai panav elechem. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you be graceful with all those that surround you. Isa Adonai panav elechem. May you find within you God's presence always. And may you have the confidence to say that this world was created for you. May you have enough love and confidence in your heart to share your blessings with others. And may you find peace, may you find shalom. Ve'asem lachem, lanu, to all of us, shalom. Os le'amav yitem. May God gives to all its peoples the strength, the courage to be makers, creators of peace. And may God bless us with that peace. Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Asuni mikdash v'shachanti betocham v'anachnu nevarech yam me'ata
Shabbat shalom.